I need to vent this story out. This isn't just some ghost story or some story about something I got at a strange garage sale, suddenly dripping blood or anything like that. Just a series of strange events that might be a coincidence. But if it's just a coincidence, boy, there's a whole lot of coincidences. Okay, before I get started, I may as well introduce myself. My name is Sarah, and I currently live in Attica, Wyoming, though I grew up in Hyde Park, New York. If you ever seen the Valentine's Care Bears family series, you'll probably know the wizard No Heart. While most people think of how ridiculously beat up and cheerful the show was, I remember how No Heart seemed, well, evil in a frightening way. I know it was a bit cliche, stating that he wants to take over the world at one point, bragging about his evilness and there were other aspects to him. Do you remember the episode Birthday Bears Blues? In it, Noah Hart had become infuriated after the Care Bears laughed at him of how he failed to kidnap a Care Bear and a Care Bear cousin. I only remember Gentle Heart's Lamb was one of the Care Bears in the attempted kidnapping. He then conducted a plan to trap the Care Bears in a maze where they would be separated so he could take them down, one by one. Once they were trapped in the maze, he then turned into a tiger, and then he hunted them down. He eventually came across Gentle Heart Lamb, and said that he would be having lamb chops. I didn't realize that until a couple days later what he meant. No Heart had planned on eating them in order to get his revenge. I found this strange, since it was supposed to be a kid's show. Then again, half Disney villains died in gruesome ways. Heck, even some parents were killed off in those movies. But still, this was out of place, considering the rest of the show's tone. While walking home from school one day, I saw a white tiger striped cat chewing on a dead mouse. Of course, being a little kid, seeing a cute kitty cat, I went up to pet it. I was about a foot away when it turned its head towards me. Although its eyes visually looked like a normal cat's eyes, there was something off about them. However, the cat walked up to me and I pet it. It then proceeded to follow me home. To my childish delight, my parents just said they were keeping it around until someone claimed it, but no one did, so we kept it. I named him Wiggy. Wiggy acted like a normal cat for the most part, but he seemed to understand every word I said. One day I received a plush Gentle Heart Lamb after begging my dad for it at the store. Later when I got home from school, I found Wiggy had torn it to shreds and have eaten a bit. I scolded him, and since he already knew better than to chew on our stuff, he had been a very well-behaved cat until then. I then went to watch Care Bears. A return of the Birthday Bears Blues was playing. I froze, gazed over at Wiggy, who purred when No Heart approached Gentle Heart Lamb. I told Wiggy to stop creeping me out, prompting Wiggy to meow innocently, and began rubbing against my head. He always did try to butter me up, the sneaky little thing. I then settled on turning off the TV and went to my room to do homework. Wiggy followed me, like he usually did, and that was the end of it for a while. Later I was painting with my sister when Wiggy knocked over the purple paint and began to roll in it. Again I scolded him. I took him inside to wash, which prompted him and began howling and struggling. He seemed very upset when I washed his fur coat off. During the next week he ignored me and hissed at me at one point. Apparently my weird cat had really wanted to be purple. Eventually I had enough, and I had a color and curl candy toy that I almost never played with, so there was plenty of hair dye left in the set. I then proceeded to dye my crazy cat's fur purple, so now he was a purple tiger striped cat. I got into my trouble with my parents later. When I tried to explain about the purple paint incident to them, they didn't believe me. They tried to wash the dye off the cat's fur, but it wouldn't come off. Apparently, the advertisements were wrong. It didn't wash out easily. Wiggly was a lot happier with me after that, but still acted strange. One night I couldn't get to sleep, even though I lay there in my bed all night. I started to get up to go to the bathroom downstairs. When I got to the top of the stairs, I stopped. I heard a male voice coming from downstairs, and I couldn't recognize the voice. It sounded familiar. I also couldn't make out what he was saying. I was also afraid to scream, in case I got his attention. I told my parents' bedroom that it was in the basement, so I couldn't tell them either. Eventually the voice stopped, and I thought he had left. And I went downstairs, and then I saw him, standing there. He turned to me, and I froze. It was too dark to make out his features, but I could tell he was tall, had long nails, and his eyes seemed strange. He was wearing what I thought was a dress, but then I realized it was a robe. He then suddenly screamed in anguish when I looked him down. Wiggy was scratching his leg until it was bloody. My dad then came upstairs with a small pistol and shot the man, killing him. Apparently he was from the asylum after claiming to be a wizard who had taken from the form of a cat. Naturally, no one believed him, but Wiggy disappeared after that night, and we couldn't find him anywhere. I was devastated, having lost my cat. The reason why I'm telling you this is because recently, I met a man who dressed up as No Heart at the costume party. He had purple hair, and he was holding a torn gentle to heart lamb stuffed animal, and his name was Wiggins. Like I said, this could be a series of Care Bear themed coincidences. And that, my little pretties, was No Heart, a Childhood Trauma. A Care Bears Creepypasta written by PyroGothNerd. My final thoughts on this story? I actually thought this was a pretty good Care Bears Creepypasta. I mean, the ending could have maybe improved a little bit because, yeah, there's a few things I didn't, care about the ending. But before I get to the ending, I'm just gonna basically go through with, the story. Well, I definitely would have to say, I actually heard of this story from Mountain Eye's narrations, as well as, Seabass actually narrated this one, and Dave the Useless also narrated this story, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot at this story, because I know the last Care Bear story I did was, The Things Without Feelings. Yeah, that was the one I narrated. I remember narrating that sometime last year, or maybe it was 2020. I don't remember. And I was trying to look for some good Care Bears creepypastas, and I actually found out that it was, a good story. Now, I recognize the episode. However, though, I could definitely say right now that the whole part of this is, basically the protagonist who was watching this, had like basically a little bit of a traumatizing, thing when it comes to, No Heart killing, Gentle Lampart and eats him in a tiger form. Like, basically, I guess you could kind of say it's a lost episode, but I'm not really sure if I should call it a lost episode. I guess I could just call it a lost episode because it kind of has elements to it. But yet again, I mean, who's really to say? Basically, this prompts to show that, No Heart, we all know No Heart and, Care Bears is a messed up individual in many ways. I mean, yeah, I found him to be a cool villain in Care Bears. Even when I was a kid, I do remember watching Care Bears a lot. But, the fact that the well-written this story was, I have to say, it's a pretty good story. I really do like the well-made grammar, sentence structuring, and everything about it. It actually helped me, be able to read the story really well. I do like, the concept. It seemed pretty interesting. And I honestly could say, I mean, with villains who are, just crazy and scary like No Heart, I mean, any one would kind of get, unnerved and probably a little disturbed by his appearance. But ever since I was a kid, I never was scared of No Heart from Care Bears. I never once was. Unlike his niece Shrieky, oh my god, Shrieky is such a bitch. I'm not gonna lie, I never really cared for Shrieky when I was a kid in the show because of how annoying she is, but now looking at her, I didn't think she was that bad. She's not that bad as I used to think. But I definitely would have to say, No Heart actually, the fact that what he did in that one episode, that I think this, the episode itself, it actually explains. But the whole thing about, the ending where the cat ends up going missing after the man dressed up as No Heart, or not No Heart, but the man in a robe dies or something. I mean, the ending wasn't really too satisfying. I mean, it's just a bland ending. I mean, it was anticlimactic, but yet again, I mean, I didn't really care for the ending. The fact that someone dressed up as a, No Heart at a costume party, I thought that was pretty interesting. But if I gotta be 100% honest, I do wish there was more added to the ending, so then that way we can have a really good concept and a little bit more, to be honest, a little bit more added to the story. It would honestly help, the story out a lot more. That's just probably how I think personally. But yet again, I mean, everyone has their own opinions on, how they see things. Like, I know I haven't read this story in ages. So that's kind of why my mind was very fuzzy when I saw this, because this story, I have not watched it in ages. So it's honestly, I still found this story to be, have a great concept and all that, but I honestly would have to say this story honestly has the ending could have been a little bit more improved, but despite that, I didn't think this story was, that bad. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and just say this right now. Like I'm just going to say right now, and like I always continue to say, yeah, to the offer, great job with this story. I honestly found this story to be, it's a good, enjoyable one. It's well made, and there's definitely a lot of time and effort into it. So, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, like I'm just gonna say, this is just simply my own personal opinion. Um, if I happen to miss anything in the story, feel free to check out the story in the comments. Feel free to check this out on the Creepypasta Wiki. It's on there if you want to have a read. And if I miss anything that I didn't point out, please let me know in the comments below. I like to hear that. And anyways, like I was just going to say, it's just simply my own personal opinion. If you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Not a bad Care Bears pasta. The ending could be more improvised a little bit. But, I mean, I can understand it's like an older story, so I'm willing to give it a pass on it being, just an older story. But other than that, this story was actually not bad. Could be a little bit of improvement near the ending, and even at the ending, but not bad though. I definitely would have to say it's still a pretty good story. Anyways, what did you guys think about this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to this channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, because I make brand new videos every single day. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.